One of the funnier things we see on this channel are the flat earthers who have too much time to think about things. They've had so much time to ruminate about the shape of the earth that what percolates to the top of their head is nonsense in the purest form. And you're about to see some of that today. Hello all and welcome along to another video with me, Simon Dan. Thanks very much for joining me. Right, before we begin with today's video, a quick word from me about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy protection easy and attainable, encrypting all internet traffic sent to and from your devices and ensuring your IP address remains hidden to make sure no one can see what you do online. On top of that, they block ads, trackers, malware and phishing attempts, and unlike other VPN services, you can use it on as many devices as you want simultaneously. I am online a lot at the moment. I spend between 6 to 8 hours per day online. The internet knows a hell of a lot about us, and it's why we should care about our online data. You can use Surfshark to encrypt your personal information and send it via a secure VPN tunnel so no one can see it without your permission, which is great for protecting things like your ID. ID theft is an increasingly common and scary crime. You can use Surfshark though and its HackLock system to get alerts anytime your email address or password is compromised. HackLock will scan various databases of leaked information and then notify its users if their data is found so they can take action. All you got to do is go to surfshark.com/SimonDan for 4 extra months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. Right then, on with today's video, which comes from a brand new flat earther. At least I've not seen him before, and his name is Bill Beeson. Let's meet Bill, shall we?
Hello, my name is Bill.
Hi Bill, hope you are well. Now recently Bill made a video where apparently he proved Neil deGrasse Tyson wrong. But he didn't stop there, everyone. His most recent video is asking me, or Skyman Dan as he calls me, to critique it. And we don't want to disappoint Bill, do we? So let's do that.
I'm going to be proving to you that this globe does not work.
Great, Bill. You won't be able to do that, of course, but you aren't the first to try, and I'm pretty sure you won't be the last to try either.
I'm going to be showing you a lot of different things. My point that I'm trying to get, and I've been trying to prove to everybody, the Earth is a clock. Multiple problems.
The Earth does have regular repeating cycles. The day-night cycle, the seasons, the motions of the stars across the sky. These patterns are incredibly consistent, which is why ancient cultures used them to tell the time. But using that as a metaphor is not the same as providing a working model. A clock is something built with gears and mechanisms. And that explains why its hands move. Now in science we need the same thing, an explanation for how and why these motions happen.
The equator and the prime meridian supposedly are at 0 degrees. There's no 0 on a clock, but you can put it above the 12, obviously. Same thing on a protractor. There's no 0. I mean, there is a 0 on a protractor, but it's also 180 and 360. You basically start with degree 1 and you end up with degree 360.
Okay, first, no, a protractor starts at 0 degrees, not 1 degree. Because obviously you can have angles less than 1 degree. With latitude and longitude though, 0 is simply the reference point from which everything else is measured. The equator is 0 degrees latitude because it's the midpoint between the poles, and the prime meridian is 0 degrees longitude because we need a starting line to map east and west. So comparing the Earth's coordinate system to a household clock doesn't really tell us anything about the shape of the Earth. They're built for totally different purposes.
Supposedly, these are 0 degrees. They're actually 360 degrees, and I've shown you the prime meridian, which becomes the international dateline, is also 360. Everybody's confusing 90 and 90, but you have to add 90 and 90, which creates a 360.
No one is confused with this system, Bill. Pilots, sailors, cartographers, anyone who uses navigation uses latitude and longitude every day without issue.
What I've discovered, and I've always thought, looking at flat maps, I've taken this apart and put it on a ball just because everybody wants to take a ball, a balloon ball, and cut it into pieces, and you can't do that. The point is, your prime meridian and your equator supposedly are at the center of the Earth.
When he says the prime meridian and the equator are supposedly the centre of the Earth, this is where the misunderstanding really starts from Bill here. These lines aren't physical objects inside the planet. They're reference lines drawn on the surface to make navigation and mapping possible. As I said, the prime meridian is simply the chosen line to map east versus west. The equator is the midpoint between the poles, and neither of them have anything to do with Earth's internal centre.
Well, guess what? You flip it over, there's another center of the Earth right here. You can't have two centers of the Earth. It's the exact same principle.
Good job the Earth has only one true centre then, isn't it? The point equidistance from every point on the surface. That centre never moves and never duplicates, no matter which way you turn a sphere.
This is Australia and Russia. This is the same point. They meet right here. This is where they meet right below Africa. It's the same point. Doesn't work.
I think we're all trying really hard to understand exactly what doesn't work here, Bill. So far we aren't getting it, my friend.
Besides that, you start out with your 360-degree line, whichever one you want to use, and then you put it on a 23.5-degree tilt. Well, that's not going to keep it at zero, or whatever you want to call it. You can't put this and tilt it. You just put it straight, this straight. Besides, lines are supposed to be straight. None of these lines are straight. This is the prime meridian. This is the international date zone or whatever. It's not straight. The equator is not straight. Boy, it doesn't work, does it?
On a sphere, a straight line is what we call a great circle, the shortest path between 2 points on a curved surface. These lines look curved when you flatten them on a flat map, but they're perfectly straight in spherical geometry. The equator is a great circle, the prime meridian is a great circle, every line of longitude is a great circle. So nothing is broken here. The tilt of Earth works, the coordinate system works, and the lines behave exactly as they should on a curved surface. Bill, this is some of the worst globe debunking that I've seen in a long time, and I've seen a lot.
On top of that, I've done what everybody else is doing, except instead of cutting the ball map into pieces, I tried to put this on a ball. You can't do it. This looks just like a globe. It's worthless. It doesn't work.
That's because the Mercator projection isn't designed to be remapped into a sphere, Bill. The Mercator map is a flat rectangular projection. To turn a spherical surface into that shape, you have to stretch the polar regions dramatically. There's no way to undo that distortion and put it back on a ball. This isn't a problem with the sphere, it's a limitation of the Mercator projection map.
I have created my own maps.
My word, this should be good.
This is USA, South America, Africa, Australia, Europe, and Asia. These have borders. This is the edges. 180, 180, 180, 180. This is as far as you can go east. You can't go any further than that. You can't go any further west or north or south. That's how that works.
So Bill draws a square with 180 degrees written on each edge and calls those the furthest points you can go. That's not how directions work or how the world works. Those edges aren't physical limits. It's just where he's chosen to stop drawing his map. The 180-degree meridian is not a wall. It's simply the opposite longitude from the prime meridian. That's all it is.
This is how the sun is supposed to work. It starts in an easterly direction, either north or south, depending on your season, goes around and underneath the Earth. And then this is the other season. It starts here a little bit lower and goes from southeast to northwest underneath the Earth. You can see it's not a complete circle.
Day and night happens, obviously, because the Earth spins once every 24 hours. There's no need for a sun to dip below a flat plane or even travel under a map. He's got absolutely no evidence to support this, by the way. He's just thought about it for a long, long time. Dear, oh dear.
This would be, I showed you this before, this is your Beeson map. Everything in here north, everything south. This would be east, this would be west. Brilliant map, it works perfectly. You have your northwest, your northeast, your southeast, and your southwest. You can break it down. Now this is a new map that I've shown you that I found on a clock that I wish I could get a copy of. There's two of them. Like I've said, this would be your prime meridian, so you have to shift it so it lines up with 12 and 6. That's the only mistake they made. It's simply a clock and a map. East portion, west portion. Equator. Northwest, southwest. Northeast, southeast. That works.
The map Bill shows here is an old double hemisphere world map. A very common style in the 17th and 18th centuries. Now, this wasn't created to show a flat Earth. It wasn't meant to be taken as a literal shape of the world. They were produced because they were practical, these maps. Splitting the globe into two circles allowed cartographers to preserve shapes and distance more accurately, rather than forcing everything into a rectangular sheet like the Mercator projection. Each circle represents one hemisphere, the western and eastern.
Obviously, somebody created a clock out of this map. And there's different maps in this program, old world maps. There's at least 3 different ones that are very similar to this, where they have an east and a west, and they break it down with the equator. But they're showing you right here, you can't go past Australia. You can't go past, this would be the US right here. This would be kind of where Alaska is. You can't go past Alaska. That's just, it doesn't work that way.
Those circular borders you see aren't barriers. They're just a frame of the map projection, Bill. The edges are simply where the cartographer chose to cut the sphere to lay it flat. That cut can go anywhere.
I believe I even picked up, yeah, somebody created a disk map.
Time zones are the product of transportation going.
He thinks he knows time zones. He doesn't. All these scientists are mentally incompetent and delusional. They don't. Skyman Dan, I'd really appreciate if you do a video critiquing me. I'm waiting for it.
Well, this is right now, my friend. I hope I meet your expectations regarding this critique.
International time zones were created by the same gods that gave us clocks, the same gods that gave us maps. This is the system that we're in. This is what they've done for us.
And this is what too much time thinking about something without the background knowledge required looks like.
Most people that believe in this globe, the rotation, the tilt, they're not only mentally incompetent and delusional, they work for NASA, or they work for the government, or they work for the media, or they work for our schools.
They work everywhere, Bill, because most people understand what the shape of the Earth is.
And now I'm just going to give you some numbers, if you want to know them. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. If you divide that by 360, there's 4 minutes per degree when it goes around the clock. You can also divide it by 60 and 20. One day, two rotations, so there's 6 degrees in every minute and or second, or 3 degrees in every minute and second for a 24-hour clock. That's how it all works.
The Earth's rotation doesn't know about minutes or seconds. It simply spins, and we divide that spin into 24 hours and 60 minutes and 60 seconds, so then we can measure it nice and neatly. When he divides 1,440 minutes by 360 degrees, he gets 4 minutes per degree. And that's fine as a conversion factor, but it doesn't reveal a hidden mechanism or a deeper truth about the Earth. It's just maths describing the units we choose. And I think that's where we're going to leave Bill today as we wrap up another video. It's a real shame that when people come up with too much time on their hands, they come up with things like this. Please do let me know in the comments today what you thought of this one. As I say, we're all done and dusted for another video. Thanks so much for watching as ever. It's appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel and giving this particular video a big thumbs up too. Just enough time for another shout out from me about today's sponsor, Surfshark. Remember, go to surfshark.com/SimonDan for 4 extra months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the return of Matt Powell with a challenge for all atheists. Interesting. See you then.